Great, we have folks joining in. Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you joining us from different parts of the world. I'm Sandeep, product designer at Galabox, and I'm thrilled to be your host for this session. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Before we dive into the session, I kindly request you all to introduce yourself in the chat section. And if you got any questions to David, please put the questions in the Q&A tab next to the chat section. And now, without further ado, let's get the session started. Over to you, David.
Thank you very much, Sandeep. Good morning, everyone. And I'm super excited to be here today to speak with you guys. And just to get things started without any further ado, let's get into today's session. So I chose a very important topic. I think it's a topic that a lot of designers and generally tech people need to be aware of, and it is designing for impact, creating products that make a difference. So just like Sandeep has said, use the comment section or the chat section to just tell me about yourself. I really love to read about you while I go on with the session. And yes, certainly there will be time for questions. So please ensure you don't ask those questions that will throw me off my seat. But that's by the way. Let's get into this. So, hi everyone. My name is David White, and I'm a brand and product designer with 3 years of experience creating solutions from Nigeria. And today I'll be discussing how design can be a driving force behind products that have a meaningful impact. All right, so I started my journey first off as a brand designer. That was 3 years ago before I transitioned into product design. And it's been a journey for me as a designer from Nigeria. I mean, getting to work on several projects and just learning the ropes of the day-to-day improvements. And that has really helped me greatly to add more value to the products I create for my clients. And yeah, so let's get to the next slide. Now, this is a brief overview of what we'll be doing today. We're going to be exploring the power of design in shaping products and brands that leave a lasting impact on people's lives. So, many of us create products daily, several products, even down to a flyer. Many people don't think a flyer is a product, but your flyer can create an impact in people's lives. I mean, it can really change lives based on the informations and the general composition you put into that flyer. So let's move on. I featured three brands in this presentation, and they you can see their logo on the screen. That is Apple, Airbnb, and Tesla. And I'll be using them as a use case for this presentation. I'll leave you with a short note, and it's basically design shapes our world. So next time you get out there, let people know that design shapes our world. Everything we see around us, the buildings, every single thing is design, and God is the ultimate creator. All right. What is impactful design? And in a nutshell, I've basically said impactful design is about creating products that solve real problems and leave a lasting impression on your users. And I've said real problems because there are a lot of problems we face daily. I mean, I would use the case of let's say, a married woman, and she has a job that she has to go to, and she needs to take her kids to school, she needs to go to market, she needs to do all of these tasks daily. Design has basically created solutions that can help her navigate through the different tasks that she has to do very easily by the inclusion of products such as mobile applications. Now with Uber, she can easily book a ride for her kids' journey to school and back with ease. And with other products, she can easily order foodstuff and get them delivered to the house. And I know there's the cost to put into consideration, but these things have really helped a lot of people. I mean, it has helped me in particular. There are certain places I need to go to, and I can just schedule a ride before the time. I don't need to wait till that time to start booking my ride or start running around for certain things. And that's what impactful design is all about, because it basically changes the lives of your users by creating a lasting impression that can be felt worldwide. Now, I was, while putting together this presentation, I made some research and I saw that 75% of consumers consider design when deciding on a product. Now, I'm one of those people. I have several books on my decks, and I'll just show you. I have these books, and most of these books I got were not because I really liked them or because I knew them, but I got these books because, frankly, I love the design. And reading them, I have come to see how impactful they can be on me as a person. And that's the secondary aspect of design. Now, I'm going to show you the next slide, but we're going to take a look at two images, and I'll need your response also in the chat section. So you're going to look at the two images and tell me something. Which would you buy? I'd like to know. So let me know if it's A or if it's going to be B in the chat section. Looking at the both design, I will tell you my answer. My answer would be in the next slide. But this is one of the key consideration people put when getting certain things. I mean, I go to the mall and I'm shopping for groceries, and there are certain things I get that I don't really need. But as a designer, I just tend to get them because this looks so cool. I feel the product will be nice. And then if I get to test it and use it and it's good, then I continue using that product. But then that's why I said it's secondary. If I get to test it and the product itself is not good, then I would drop off from it. But that is one thing I'm going to be talking about very soon. And just keep your hands locked in. Our first case study for today is Tesla. And Tesla's electric cars revolutionized the automotive industry. They did a lot of things by pushing electric cars to mainstream. Now, a lot of people want to get Tesla, and most times we don't even think about the fact that Tesla uses electricity to operate. It doesn't use the general fuel the other native cars use. And this is what Tesla has done. It has pushed it to the mainstream. It has made a lot of people in part, it has shaping a lot of lives, frankly, because there are countries that do not have so much in getting this gas for their vehicles, and Tesla is just there to solve that problem. I know it's cost efficient, but then it helps a whole lot of people. And this is something we can see way back 2020, that was 3 years ago. Tesla's Model 3 became the best selling electric car globally, and not just in a particular region, but globally. So they made a lasting impression in the lives of their users. I mean, I want to get Tesla if I have the money, and it's just something you need to understand. So a lot of users must have found it very useful in regards to getting gas and the cost of getting gas and the cost of just charging the Tesla. So many of them had to pivot that way to getting a Tesla. And that is why I've used it as one of my case studies for today. This is a photo of a Tesla, and I mean, I chose this photo because it doesn't really look that sophisticated. I mean, like the other SUVs or a Benz or a Ferrari, but a lot of people went for the car, and you can tell that it has solved a lot of problem. I mean, they have regular software updates that is in check to ensure that the Tesla is up to date with the latest trends and innovations, and generally updates that would keep it running for a very long time. So we need to give them that kudos. The next case study for me today is Airbnb. And I know Airbnb is like the talk of the town. I haven't used one myself, but while I was doing my research for this presentation, I decided, in fact, they were the first that came to my mind. Airbnb. A lot of people use Airbnb, and data to June 2023, Airbnb has more than 150 million worldwide users. 150 million. That means it has solved a lot of problem. I was speaking with some elderly people because of Airbnb, and they told me something. Way back, it was very difficult for them to have the kind of ease we have today that Airbnb has brought into the travel scene. And that is being able to book affordable apartments and just rooms to use while you travel. I mean, you can even schedule these things for months. I know the native or local hotels are now doing it, but then it was very difficult. And Airbnb has done so much. They've made it affordable. You can travel to anywhere you want to. There are several other reasons that are applicable to this case study and that Airbnb has done for its users worldwide. And that's why you can see that they are growing rapidly. I mean, a lot of people, even young people that don't even know much about Airbnb, wants to use Airbnb because they've been doing amazing, and they've actually planted that lasting impression in their users that they don't even need to talk about their brand so much. The users are now the ones passing this information to the audience. I mean, there's a local app I use in Nigeria. It's called Opay, and almost all the Uber drivers in my city use it. They use it for transactions, and they're even the ones asking you, "Have you used this app?" It's very fast. If you want to transfer from another app, they're always telling you, "Oh, have you used this?" It's not because Opay would be paying them for that recommendation because they never ask for any referral link, but because that product has created an ease for them in transactions. It has moved the kind of native banking that we have down here to another scene, making it easy for people to make transfers and get it easily. So this is not me giving publicity to Opay, but they're doing an amazing job. And that's what Airbnb has done. So now the users are now the users that have enjoyed these benefits are now the ones pushing this to other users. So without even giving them tips, I would strongly recommend Airbnb without even blinking an eye. So that's how Airbnb has transformed the way we travel. A lot of people travel every day, and this is one of the best things you can do for yourself. Get the Airbnb app and just schedule your travel and just be there and be in comfort. And that's one thing that I love about Airbnb. Now, there's one very key thing that I saw while making research, and it is that these 150 million users have booked over 1 billion stays, and 6 guests check into Airbnb listing every single second. And this research or data wasn't gotten from years back, but from June 2023, this year, just a few months ago. So that tells you a lot about the brand. They are making waves in the mainstream, and they're just helping users enjoy the benefits of using their application or using their products. And that's how you can take things to the next level. And I'm going to talk more about this, but let's get into the next slide. Now, this is a photo I saw. It's in Italy, and it's a photo of a place you can stay in that is owned by Airbnb. So, in case you want to travel, do well to check this place out. Now, impactful design does not just work on its own and become impactful. There are certain design principles that govern impactful design. And this is where we'll get more into um, what you need to pay attention to as a designer to create that long lasting product. Everyone wants to have that product. Everyone wants to have that Airbnb, that Tesla, that Apple. But there are certain principles that govern everything. I mean, even in organizations where we work, there are principles that govern what we do there so that you're not going off the grid. And effective design adheres to these 3 key principles. Now, there are several other principles, but these are the 3 I'll be putting into check. And the first one is simplicity, second is usability, and the last is aesthetics. Now, I've intentionally kept aesthetics at the end because most designers tend to put it first. You want the design to look very beautiful, but the product itself is bad. So you need to put everything in check. So the product has to be simple, it has to be usable, very key. And then, of course, if it's simple and is usable, it has to be beautiful because most people would not get this book if it's not beautiful. This book looks very simple. It's nearly all the men in Lagos are mad, literally. And the subtle art of not giving an F. And these books are very simple. They're not complicated design, surrounded by idiots. These are very simple looking books. And you can tell that they have impacted lives. They've generally impacted life. I mean, a lot of people talk about the subtle art of not giving an F, and they haven't read the book, frankly. But it's because of the impact it has laid in the lives of several people. I know while I'm talking, people will be expecting to hear more of mobile applications, but generally, everything you see around you is a product. As long as it helps with your day to day activities or carrying out your tasks, then it's creating an impact in your life. Let's take a look at simplicity. Now, the principle of simplicity, which is also known as simplicity in design, is a fundamental concept in design that emphasizes clarity, efficiency, and minimalism. It revolves around the idea of simplifying complex ideas, objects, or systems to make them more understandable, user friendly, and aesthetically pleasing. Now, I wanted to keep my slides very short because I was thinking I was going to get less than 10 slides, but it went above. So I did not add another screen. I wanted to add a screen of two designs and still ask for your and do like an A and B test where I get to know which one is better off than the other. And this is very key to your design. Always try to keep things very simple. Don't try to do so much. A lot of people design very clean, simple designs or products, and they just feel like, oh, there's no space. We should put an image here, or we should put something here. And these things would amplify the design. But in the real sense, it won't. It would only make that design clustered. And you don't want to do that. You want users to be able to see what they want to do and carry out that task easily. So I'm going for a vacation. Few weeks ago, I was in Abuja and I had to book like my hotel and I had to book like the flight. And doing that, I just want to carry out those two tasks. Simple. I want to get on the app, go straight to the point, book the flight, and just have it done with ease. And this is one thing simplicity does for you. It shortens the task. Now, most people want to always have to add certain interactions that will make the design or the product lively. And I'm talking in context to product design, I mean mobile app design. But in the real sense, users are not really interested in most of those things. And that's why user research is very important at every phase of your design or your product life cycle, every single phase. I know we have a life cycle to follow, but I'm always doing this research whenever I'm working on anything. I'm always trying to ensure that it's in line with what the users actually want, even with the PMs having to push me so much. But this is a design from Airbnb, and you can see how simple it is. Where are you going to? You search for the destination, you can choose the country, and it's just seamless. The process, it takes you step by step. It has a hierarchy that is defined. The storytelling is clear. It's not taking you from Z to A or taking you from F to A. So it takes you through a journey and makes that task simple for you. They don't have to come sit with you and start teaching you, oh, click on this. If you click on this, it takes you to this. It's just simple and the users understand it very well. And that's clarity. So make everything clear for the users so that when they are looking at what tasks they need to achieve with your product, they won't start feeling overwhelmed. There are products that I have to use. I mean, there was a certain mobile application, a banking app that I was using before, and it was very difficult. Whenever I have to send funds to someone through the application, I always found it very difficult. And I'm not saying very difficult in the sense that I couldn't use it. I could use it, but the process was just too lengthy. I just wanted to click on something and just send money. And that's why I love what Google Pay, I think Apple Pay is also doing it. You can now just easily send money to someone through a chat, and then you can still come back to that chat and just make another transaction easily without having to search so much for that person. And I love what they're doing, and kudos to them. I see it get into the mainstream for a lot of brands in the future. Now, let's look at usability. The principle of usability is a fundamental concept in design, particularly in UI and UX design, which is user interface and user experience design. Usability focuses on creating products, interfaces, or systems that are user friendly, intuitive, and easy for people to use. If you're writing, you can underline easy for people to use. Most times we feel like things needs to be complex. Trust me, the users don't care. They just want to carry out their tasks, like I said initially. Just give them that opportunity to do their tasks and just leave your app. Most people want to keep them in the app for longer time to have longer hours of usage. But in the real sense, they're not interested in using that app for a longer time, except it's a gaming product. So if it's not a gaming product, um I've forgotten the name now, but if it's not a gaming product, ensure that you're not keeping the users on your product for so long. They would thank you for it. They'll be happy to write reviews, good reviews for you whenever you request for them. All right. So the goal is to ensure that users can interact with a design effectively. And that's why I've showcased the screen from Airbnb as well. And if you look at the button downwards, the button is quite big, and I love it. I don't know. I'm a fan of big buttons because I feel like whatever way your thumb is, even though your thumb is as big as I don't want to mention names, but no matter how big your thumb is, it will fit into that button. And that's one thing Airbnb has done with their buttons. They've made it really big in this particular screen. I don't know about all of the sections, but I think it should be consistent across board. So they've made it easy for people to easily tap on buttons. And these buttons are very clear. They're not just using outlines as buttons and confusing their users. And that's one thing some designers need to learn. Most times we tend to design certain things like buttons, and they are not actual buttons. Just like the underlining that they've added here, where you can see the clear or, that is an action to take. And whenever you add something like that, you should have it in the mind that you're letting the users know two things. One, that is a link, or two, that is an action for them to take. So they can click on clear all, and all of the filter settings that they have created would be cleared, and then they can just move on with their tasks. Or they can click on that and it will take them to another screen to follow through with more flows for that particular action they want to take. So ensure you're using clear terms, and this would make your product usable because people would not just be clicking on things that they are not supposed to click on. They would know, oh, this is not a button, or this is a button. This is not an action to take. This is an action to take. Use clear terms and use the right colors as well. All right. When you need to pass an error message, ensure you're not using blue. Most brands these days tend to use different colors, but I feel we should keep using what has been pre-designed. I mean, don't reinvent the wheel. Don't change an error color to blue and a success color to orange. Make them the right colors. If an error color in native screens or in native products are red, make them red. Just find the hue that works for you on your product. And then if it's a success, make it green. Just find which color of green. We have different shades. Find the one that works best for your product and don't reinvent the wheel. Let's look at the last one, which is aesthetics. Now, when talking about aesthetics, we're basically talking about how beautiful these products are. And one of the products I love so much is the Mac. The MacBook is very sleek. I would confess is very sleek. And it's not just about the beauty of the product, the aesthetics of the product. The user experience is top notch. And that's why you see people when they get it, they can get several Windows products, but when they get a Mac, they are super excited. They're excited because they feel like, yeah, I have achieved something, but they've been achieving since long ago. All right. So that's how Apple has created that impact in the lives of their users because you feel like you're now fulfilled. You feel it gives you different emotions, and these emotions are what different products should be focusing on. What emotions do you want to pass to your users? You're not just passing, oh, this product is beautiful. Oh, we want the packaging to be right. We want the boxes to be beautiful, but the product itself is not. But we're talking about aesthetics, and this refers to the emphasis on visual appeal, beauty, and aesthetic aspects of a design. Aesthetics play a crucial role in various design disciplines, including graphic design, product design, architecture, and even more. Why functionality and usability are essential, they are very essential. Aesthetics ensure that a design not only works well, but also engages and resonates with users on an emotional and sensory level. So, emotional, you need to circle that word emotional. So, when next you're designing something, ask yourself, what emotions does this pass to my users? Have I used the right colors to pass these emotions? I want this product to be a happy product, and I'm using black or I'm using green. What color would be suitable for this? What can I do to amplify the design beauty? And I'm not saying you should clutter everywhere with a lot of elements of design, but just ensure that it's clean, minimalist, and very clear for the users to carry out their tasks. But frankly, if your product is not beautiful, many people would not use it. Trust me, no matter how Apple has created an impact in their users, if their product is not beautiful and sleek, many users would not attempt to use it. And that's why you can see certain products out there that have been in existence for a very long time, but they have low user range. And that's because they've not moved their design to the next level. I'm going to take, for instance, a restaurant in my city or in my country, Mr. Biggs. I don't know if it's in other countries. Mr. Biggs has some childhood memories for me as a person. Whenever I think about Mr. Biggs, I remember growing up in the city of Rumola, and we go there every Sunday. My dad used to take us there every Sunday. But today, Mr. Biggs is not at the top of the chain. Today, they should be at the top. But because they've not innovated so much, or they've not had a a product that would sell them out again, because they've been amazing. But I can't remember when last I went to Mr. Biggs. I think I need to find them and visit them and probably find their manager. But this is what aesthetics can do. All right. Your food is good and your design is bad. Many people would not attempt to test that food because the design is terrible. The product packaging is terrible. Nobody wants to try a terrible product. They don't want to think, oh, this might be good. Don't judge a book by its cover. All right. Judge it. This book, I judged it by its cover. And frankly, I've not read the book. I know many of you will be thinking I've read the book. I haven't. Maybe when I read it, I will tell you what I learned from the book. But judge a book by its cover, because most times people tend not to channel in so much into their product design or their general design or the aesthetics of their products and they just want to get to the mainstream. You need to understand that a lot goes into a product, and you need to release funds because those funds will amplify your design. And people might just take your design to be one of those top tier products out there because of the aesthetics of your product. People would see your product and they'll feel like, oh, this product feels so premium. And it's just because you've invested so much in the aesthetics. And I'm not saying you should neglect functionality and usability. That should be the first. So user experience is very key before the user interface. Let's move on. Now, every impactful design is user centered, every one of them. So, whatever product you're designing, it needs to be user centered. And what do we mean by user centered design? User centered design, basically, in a nutshell, is just placing the user's goals first. I've worked for several brands, and a few of these brands are only focused on themselves. They are not focused on how can we take these users to the next level? How can we serve these users? You're basically a servant to the users. Whatever they say they want is what you should do. And that's why I love what WhatsApp is doing. Many people might not like the new updates they are putting out, but I think they're listening to their users. And there might be times that they would have to go back on what they've done. And that's what the product life cycle is all about. So user-centered design focuses on the user's needs. So what do the users need? What are their goals? What are their frustrations? What are their pain points? What can we do to reduce? You may not be able to completely eradicate their pain points or their frustrations, but how can I reduce this for my users? All right. And many times we tend to work based on assumptions because you feel you're a human, so you feel the design you're creating is the best for the users. No, you're a designer. Many of these users are blind, and I'm going to tell you why they are blind. When you first got into design, I mean, before you got into design, or I would use myself as a use case, before I got into generally tech, I used to enjoy my movies. I mean, I would sit and watch a movie and I'll laugh and I'll cry and I'll just follow whatever emotions that movie is passing to me. But getting deeper into design day by day, I now watch my movies differently. I see things differently. I'm looking at a movie and I'm checking out the billboard I just passed in the movie, or I'm checking out the illustration I just saw. Oh, this illustration, the stroke wasn't bold enough, or the stroke of the head and the eye, they are not consistent. I think they have used 2px here, they've used 3px here. I'm always doing that. I'm looking at books, and I got these books because of design. I probably would have gone to the mall and looked for just one book to get. But I went there and I saw several books with amazing designs and I got them. So you need to know that the users are blind. What you're seeing is not what they're seeing. That hamburger menu that you're using O for instead of the one that has been invented long ago would be seen by you designers. Designers will see it and they'll know, oh, this is hamburger, or I'm supposed to click here to see more navigations. A user would not know. They would think it's probably just something lined up there or a mistake. These product owners, I don't know what they do. That means I don't know what they've done. All right. So you need to always clear those assumptions. Don't always assume the users would like this. Go out there, find your target users, and do your research. Now, many of us go on the internet, and I'm guilty of that as well, and we ask, what do you think of this? And in the real sense, you have to do it in a different way. First, you need to spell out what you're doing. What research are you carrying out? Oh, I'm carrying out research for people who love to travel, and I would like to know XYZ. What would be different if you're to travel? You'll be shocked that the users have more ideas to give than even designers, frankly, because they are the ones that feel this burden. They are the ones that would use the product. Many of you design products and you don't use them. Frankly, There are products that I've designed and I don't use them. I only go there to collect my money. So when next you're designing something, ensure you're putting the user's needs first. Leave the product owners, leave your own needs, and just focus on the user's needs, because the users will take that product to the next level. If you've created an impactful product for users to carry out their tasks daily, they will be the ones to shout your name out there. There are a lot of people that recommend me for several opportunities today, and it's probably because of the user experience they've gotten from me. All right. There are certain products you've recommended. People just ask, hey, I'm looking for a product that can do that has a virtual card that is working. You see a lot of people just trooping in and typing several products. And why are they recommending those products? It's because those products has helped them. No one will recommend a bad, well, there are people that will do that, but not many people will recommend a bad product to you. I won't do that. So if a product is bad, I would not even recommend it to anyone. So that is how you can prioritize the user's needs. Companies that prioritize user-centered design outperform their peers by 50%. And this is from Apple. And frankly, that is just the truth. If you prioritize your users, trust me, you would have an exponential growth, a growth that will be seen far and wide. People would be shocked at how fast you've grown. There's a product, a fintech product in Nigeria that had such a growth. I mean, they hit over 300,000 users in a few months. And not many products have been able to get that kind of feat. I won't mention their name. They need to send me money first. But not many products have been able to get that kind of feat, hitting over 300,000 users. And they did this based on the aesthetics of their design, how the users, how the product itself has solved users' needs. I mean, it solved thousands of needs, especially techies, people that receive money from far and wide. It solved our problems. All right. So you need to also understand that. So prioritize user centered design at all times. If your PM is pushing you to do something that you shouldn't, that you think wouldn't be nice for the users, try to speak up. And yeah, you don't have the final say. So just speak up, actually. Now, every user centered design also goes through a process, and that process is design thinking, and it's generally for even impactful products. So you need to understand that there's a design thinking approach that works for that solution. A structured approach to creative problem solving is what design thinking is in a nutshell. And that is basically ensuring that every process you take for that product is in line with the solution you want to have at the end. I mean, many of us write case studies and we write the problem and we write the solution. How did you arrive at the solution? We need to go through a defined design thinking process. And it includes empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. And I've added two more. And one of it is iterate. Now, many designers don't know this. And that's why when we create certain products, we are quick to push feedback away. People don't want to hear feedbacks. They don't want to hear, oh, you've not done the right thing. Go back and do this. Iteration is part of this process. And that is me adding it there. You would always get this. And it can take you from that you've gotten to the prototype, it can take you back to ideation. So don't be too rigid with how you allow these products owners or the users make iterations to the product, because frankly everybody wants to have the best product out there, but remember that no product it would ever get to its finished stage. And that's why if you look at Airbnb or any products, let's use WhatsApp for instance, when they started, you would see that they have kept improving on their design. They've kept improving on the features that come into the product. And that's because the users are speaking. If the users are not saying anything, and the product owner initially got into the market with one idea, I felt like, oh, let's create a product where users can chat day to day. They get in there and they won't get that. So iteration is very important. And I know why I have stayed so long on it. There's also implement or deliver and then evaluate or launch. Now, when you launch, that's when you get to evaluate the product, the success of the product, the downfall of the product. That is when you would know. You would not know when that product is in the Figma board or when it's on on staging or in test flight. You would know when that product has gone out into the market and the users have used that MVP, which is the minimum viable product. By the time they use it, you can now evaluate your success. Oh, in 3 months, we're able to hit 2 users. Why? Because other users found it difficult to go through the onboarding process, or there was a lot of drop off in the onboarding flow. So every single phase of this design needs to be thought out. You need to think about it. What do we do here? How can we draw in emotions? How can we create a lasting impression in our users that they use it for the first time and they want to call their friends in? All right. So that's what design thinking is all about. Empathy and research cannot leave the scene at all, especially empathy. You need to have empathy as a designer to be able to create products that would last long, that would create that impact in people's lives. I mean, you go to a community and you find out that they are having a certain issue that you feel like a product can help solve, and there's a product you get, and you don't go there to make research. You don't go to see, oh, who are the people having these issues? How can I get in contact with one person? How can I share in this pain? You need to put yourself in their shoes, because when you put yourself in their shoes and think as them, you'll be able to create a product that would solve problems. The key thing for me when creating products now is not to make so much money from that product, but to solve a lot of problems, because there are a lot of problems in the world. And you creating a product that can solve at least 1% of that problem, you've done a lot for the world. So when as you're working on the product, don't focus so much on the money that you'll be paid. Yeah, you'll be paid. Obviously, I love money. Um, I don't work for free. All right. But then you need to think out of it, because a product that you created today might do you a lot of good tomorrow. Frankly, it can bring a lot of opportunities to you tomorrow. It can bring a lot of satisfaction, a lot of peace of mind, knowing that, oh, wow, people are talking about my product. Are you for real? It solved 1 million problems in 2023. You'll be fulfilled. You'll feel fulfilled. So put in empathy. Emphasis on empathy and user research is a cornerstone of the design thinking process and essential in creating designs that truly resonate with users. Because by the time you put yourself in their shoes, you'll be able to ask the right questions. Research is basically asking the right questions, whether you're using whatever form of research, qualitative or quantitative. You're going to be asking questions. Sending surveys, you're asking questions. In an interview, you're asking questions. So always ensure that you try and put yourself in the user's shoes. If you can't do that, then get someone that is good with user research and is empathetic to carry out the research for you, and thereby building strong collaboration that can lead to enormous growth and successes for that particular product. Let's move forward. Why are these aspects very crucial? One, understanding user needs. When you carry out this research, you understand what they need. Empathy and user research allow designers to gain a deep understanding of the people they are designing for. By putting themselves in user shoes, designers like you and I can empathize with their challenges, motivations, frustrations, pain points. This understanding is fundamental to addressing real user needs effectively. So you would be able to address this, and you cannot address an issue until you understand it. And that's why we get certain products or gigs, and we have to do many research. We need to learn about their competitors. We need to download actual applications. We need to go on mobile. We need to check so many things because we need to do what? Understand how it works. You get it, right? So you need to understand how it works. When you've understood how something works, then you'll be able to solve that thing. If you've not understood how a product should work, you cannot create another product or you cannot move forward with that product. If you don't understand how users feel, how are they feeling? Oh, they're not feeling nice. They're not able to schedule a boat ride. They're not able to schedule an Uber ride. Oh, wow. Is that how they feel? So, what can we do? We can create a feature that allows them schedule these rides. We can create a feature on LinkedIn that can help content creators schedule their posts ahead of time. So, I might have something in mind now to say, and I want to tweet about it, or I want to post it on LinkedIn. I can easily just type it in and schedule that post. Probably I don't want it to go out today. I can do that and it would just help me with so much. I could just go to an event and my post goes live and people are talking about it. All right. So this is how you can understand user needs. What do the users need? Human-centered design. Empathy and user research puts the focus squarely on the end users, making the design process human-centered. Designing with empathy means creating solutions that prioritize the well-being and satisfaction of users, ultimately leading to better user experiences. Now, you don't just get that user experience on the go, but when users use your product more and more and more, then they enjoy using it. They're looking out for more updates. You put out updates and they're not complaining, oh, this app has come with another update again. Every time, update, update, update. They're not even doing anything. But if you're doing the right thing, I'm always fast to update my WhatsApp and I don't joke with it. Once I see a new update, I'm updating my WhatsApp. Once I see a new update, I'm updating my Twitter. I just feel like Elon Musk has done something. There's something this man has done because he's listening. Frankly, he's listening. He is. Problem identification is number 3. Empathetic designers are better at identifying the root causes of problems. Through empathy, designers can uncover hidden issues that might not be apparent through surface level. So problem identification is a skill of its own. So you can go to your CV and put it there. I'm a problem identifier, right? So that when next you're applying for a role, the people in charge would know that we need this person on the team. So you can only identify problems when you're empathetic. If you are not the kind of person that have empathy for other people, you have stone cold mind. Trust me, you can identify problems. You can be in a place and there's a fire around you, but you can't identify it. You can't even perceive certain things. Right? Personalization. Personalization enables empathy enables designers to recognize that different users have different needs and preferences. Now we have different groups. The word, yeah, we're in one word, but we have different people. We have different attributes. People, you love Chelsea. I mean, I love Chelsea, and you love Man U, and you have Onana. But you love Chelsea, and your even in your family members do not love Chelsea. It's either they love Man U or they love Arsenal or they love Liverpool or they love Man City. And that's how it is even in product design. Everybody have their own preference. How can you merge all of this to find a balance? Is where it becomes difficult. But user research would help you to a great proportion, because most times we feel like we can solve all the problems. But the truth is, your product cannot be that inclusive. It cannot be 100% inclusive. There certainly will be people that will get on your product and they don't like the color you've used and they will just drop off. There are people that will get into your product and they can't see the fonts clearly. They will just go off and click on install. I mean, when Thread came out, a lot of people trooped in. And when they stayed there for a while, they noticed this is not for me yet, maybe. And they left. That is how it is with certain products as well. So user research helps identify user segments and personas, allowing for personalized design solutions that cater to specific user groups. So there are different user groups, and that's why there are certain products that gives options. At the onboarding screen, they get to ask what type of user you are. So are you this kind of person or are you this kind of person? And whatever you see inside of the product would now be personalized solution for you. It will be something close to what you would like. It can never be exactly the thing you want to see, but it will now be personalized. And that's why we have the inclusion of colors. If you go on Twitter, I don't know if it happens on mobile, but on web, you can easily change the blue to red or to yellow to different colors. You can change the main action buttons in tertiary color. You can change it to whatever color you want, and it's just personalized for you. So if you're not a Chelsea fan, you're a Man U fan, you can just say, when it was Twitter blue, I'm not using blue. I want to change it to red. And you change it to red. There are certain products you can change the theme. On Slack, you can change the theme to whatever you like. So you would see there several, they have so many themes. So you can change it to what you like. And that's how you can personalize design solutions based on specific user groups. So think of these little things. There are people that love dark mode. All my gadgets are in dark mode. There are people that love light mode. I mean, people using light mode in 2023. I think that mode should be taken off. But people are using it. People prefer light mode. All right. I know many of you say, "Oh, you prefer dark mode. Why is this screen not in dark mode?" I'm sorry, but I needed to read this clearly. All right. So you can bring out certain solutions that cater to specific users, and it can be embedded in your product. It's very easy to do. So you have to find a way through the design thinking process. Find a way. How can we do this? Would this work? How can we pass this to the users? How would they select this? How would they see this? So you can create some form of an in-app onboarding process that lets them know. Many users will just click skip, I know, but put it there. There are many users that will be curious to know how this product actually works. So that would also help you. All right. So let's move on. Wow, time is fast spent. All right. So we're going to move to the next one, ideation and creativity. Ideation sparks innovative design solutions. And there's a story I was going to read out, but I think you guys should go and read it. It's the brainstorming section that led to the iPhone. So you need to go and see it. It's a very interesting section, and you would learn a lot from it. How they brought in empathy and creativity, innovation, and basically just change the world of iPhone. So ensure you go read about this. I put this out, but I didn't know the time is half spent. But I'm really sorry about that. So with that, I'll show you prototyping and testing. So these also help reduce design errors by 30%. Prototyping and testing. So I've also included this screen. It's from Chowdex. Shout out to them. And one thing I love about their design is just certainly the colors. And while working on this, I had to use this as a case study because while working on this prototype, I was able to spot certain things that I could have done differently. And that is something prototype and testing your product can do. So whenever you're designing anything, always try to test these things. All right. And they would help you. I'm sorry I have to speed up now. Sustainable design. I mean, Apple just launched the Apple Carbon Green, and that is what sustainable design is all about. Sustainable design is crucial for our planet. So over 60% of consumers are willing to pay more for sustainable products. So products that would not affect um, the environment, that would not affect the planet negatively. And that's why you can see all those planet people. I don't know what they call them again, but that's what sustainable design is all about. So you can watch this. I was going to play this during this section, but I did not know this would take a lot of time. In conclusion, design is a powerful tool for creating products that make a difference. And when as you're designing, just think about your users. When you put your users first, trust me, in the long run, you will create a product that would create a lasting impression for them and solve their every needs effectively. And with that, guys, thank you very much for your attention. And let's continue designing for a better future.
Thank you so much, Devio, for the session, and it was having a lot of insights for us as a designer, as an individual, working in big teams as well. Yes, folks, like you can reach out to Devio on LinkedIn, and please do reach out to him with your questions. And thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Devio, for doing this.